My family thinks I'm the reason everything fell apart, but they don't know the truth. They don't know what I uncovered or how far I went to make them pay. I can't live with this secret anymore. Welcome to Reddit Toxic Family Telltales channel. New episode every day. I had a best friend, no scratch that, a lifelong best friend. We grew up together, laughed together, cried together. We were practically inseparable. And when we both landed jobs at the same company, it felt like fate. For over a year we even competed for the same promotion. I thought it was friendly competition, the kind that pushes you to be your best. But I was dead wrong. When I got that promotion I expected at least a smile, a pat on the back, something. Instead she stayed quiet. No congrats. No, I'm happy for you. Just cold silence. And then she detonated the bomb that wrecked my life. She leaked a private conversation I'd had with her. I was tipsy that night, venting about my boss, even joking that I must have slept with the CEO to get ahead. Crude? Sure. Serious? Absolutely not. But she knew that. She was my best friend. She knew the difference between my drunk sarcasm and reality. Still, she handed that conversation to my boss on a silver platter. And guess what happened next? I got called into the office. Fired. Just like that. But the nightmare didn't stop there. I came home that same day to find my boyfriend packing his bags. My heart dropped. I begged him to explain, and he showed me the very same conversation. I had complained about how sick I was of his mother controlling our relationship. And what did he say? My mom comes first. If you can't respect that, you're not the one. Then he left me. Do you know what it feels like to have your career ripped away and then your relationship stomped out in the same breath? I didn't even get time to grieve one loss before the next one hit. And then came the final nail in the coffin. She posted an edited version of that conversation online. Twisted it, made it look like I was trashing all of my friends. Suddenly my phone was full of notifications, but none of them were supportive. Everyone believed her. Nobody believed me. I was left standing in the ruins of my own life, jobless, dumped, friendless. That was the day something inside me broke. I decided I was going to ruin her life. Completely. Now, I wasn't some evil mastermind with a blueprint of revenge strategies on hand. No. I just sat there for days, staring at the ceiling, my mind spinning with rage. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I kept replaying everything she'd done to me. Until one night I snapped. I thought I know everything about Sophie. Every secret. Every lie. Every scar she ever tried to cover. And if she could weaponize my trust, then I'd do the same. That's when it hit me. I knew exactly where to start. Her biggest, darkest secret. Sophie had been tangled up in an affair with a married man for years. She swore me to secrecy and I'd honored that, even though I never approved. I'd always told her, find your own man, Sophie. Stop clinging to someone else's husband. But she never listened. I still remember one night she came over to my apartment, practically glowing. She had a date planned with him, told me his wife thought he was away on a business trip. She showed me texts full of promises, how much he missed her, how excited he was to see her again. She had spent hours curling her hair, something Sophie almost never did. She was even wearing makeup because Drew, her affair partner, once said he loved women who wore a certain style. She looked gorgeous, radiant, like she believed tonight was finally the night. But when the clock ticked closer to their reservation, Drew went silent. No reply. No excuses. Just silence. She checked his location on an app and saw he was nearly 2 hours away at some nightclub. Her face twisted with anger. Come with me, she demanded. I didn't want to get dragged into it, but she looked at me and hissed, a real best friend would. And like an idiot I agreed. 2 hours later we pulled up. His car was right there. Sophie actually flirted with the bouncer to skip the line, and then she stormed inside. I'll never forget the look on her face when she spotted him. Drew was surrounded by women. Laughing, flirting, drinking. One of them kissed him right in front of her. She froze. Then she stormed up to him, shouting, how could you do this to me after everything? They'd been together for 2 years. 2 years of sneaking around, of him promising to leave his wife once he was financially stable. And she bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Drew looked like a deer in headlights when he saw her. He tried to explain, but she dragged me back to the car and later told me it was a misunderstanding. After that night, I stopped caring about that relationship. Until now. Because now? I was going to use it. I dug up old photos, texts, anything that screamed affair. And when I had enough, I sent it all anonymously to his wife. And oh boy, the explosion that followed? Way bigger than I imagined. The wife didn't just confront him in private. No. She went public. She blasted everything online. Pictures, screenshots, the whole affair laid bare for the world to see. Suddenly, Sophie was no longer the golden girl. She was the homewrecker. The liar. The cheater. Our entire friend group turned on her. People who once admired her now spit her name like venom. And me? For the first time in weeks, I smiled. But that was only round one. Her job was next. We both worked at the same marketing firm, and I knew one thing, reputation was everything. If people stopped trusting you, you were done. So I created a fake social media account in her name. Bought followers, bought likes, even reposted her old photos so it looked legit. For a week I built it up nice and slow. And then? I started posting. Offensive stuff. Controversial comments. At first, just little things to raise eyebrows. But then I cranked it up. People noticed. They started reporting the account. And right when the fire was spreading, I sent an anonymous letter to HR, pretending to be a concerned coworker. I included screenshots of the fake posts and claimed she'd been making those comments in the office too. It didn't take long. By the end of that week, Sophie was fired. Rumors of her affair didn't help either. Her career shattered. And I was addicted. That dark satisfaction was like a drug. But I wasn't done. Not even close. Her love life was next. So, after torching Sophie's career, I turned my sights on the one thing she still had left, her relationship. See, besides Drew, the married guy she clung to like a bad habit, Sophie had a boyfriend. Ryan. Now, Ryan was different. He wasn't flashy, not the type to show up at every party or make a scene. He was quiet, reserved, almost shy. Honestly? A good guy. He didn't even use social media. No Instagram, no Facebook, nothing. Just an email account. That's it. In a way, he was perfect for Sophie because he stayed so far removed from her messy double life. He didn't know about Drew. He didn't know about her affair being plastered online. He was blissfully clueless. But I was about to change that. I found his email and I started planting little seeds of doubt. Anonymous messages, subtle at first. Do you really know who Sophie is? She's not the woman you think. Then I started sending him proof. Screenshots of her texts with Drew, little tidbits of their conversations. And when I ran out of real evidence, I made some up, fake conversations, suggestive messages with other guys. One email at a time, I chipped away at his trust. And after weeks of this, he broke up with her. She was devastated. I could see it on her Instagram. She posted one of those vague, moody quotes, something about heartbreak and betrayal. For a second, just a tiny second, I almost felt bad. Because she really did like Ryan. He grounded her. But deep down, I knew she would have dropped him the second Drew offered her a real commitment. That thought kept me warm at night. But here's the thing about revenge, it eats you alive. A normal person would have stopped there. Career destroyed. Relationship gone. Affair exposed. Life in shambles. But me? No. I wasn't finished. Because Sophie still had one last piece of stability left. Her home. She lived in this nice apartment downtown, and honestly, she could barely afford it. I knew that because whenever we'd go out, she'd make excuses or I'd end up covering her half. She used to complain that rent was swallowing her paycheck whole. She was constantly late, juggling bills, barely holding it together. So I hit her where it hurt. First, I tipped off her landlord. I pretended to be a credit card company, sending an email that hinted she was maxing out her accounts and might not be able to pay her rent again. Then I got dirtier. I started spreading rumors around her building. I whispered that she was mentally unstable, that she was having meltdowns because of the affair drama. Neighbors started to complain. They said they were worried about her, scared of what she might do. And her landlord? He wanted no part in it. So he evicted her. Just like that. With no job, no boyfriend, no affair to cling to, and now no home. Sophie had nothing. She bounced from couch to couch, crashing with friends until even they started pushing her away. She was toxic, radioactive. Nobody wanted her around. And me? I had taken everything from her. The way she had taken everything from me. For the first time, I felt like I was on top again. People in our friend group started hanging out without her, pretending she never existed. And when Ryan, sweet, oblivious Ryan, reached out to me for brunch, thanking me for being such a real friend to him, I couldn't help but smirk. I even let myself think, maybe I won. Maybe this is what victory feels like. But that's the thing about revenge. The satisfaction? It doesn't last. Over time, it started to rot inside me. I checked Sophie's social media daily, desperate to see more proof of her misery. I obsessed over her life so much that I started neglecting my own. Ryan eventually stopped talking to me, said he couldn't handle how every single conversation circled back to Sophie. Even on dates, I was ranting about her instead of, actually being present. And the new job I had landed? I should have crushed it. I was qualified, I had the experience. But my performance tanked because all my energy went into monitoring Sophie's downfall instead of doing my actual work. I had become bitter, angry, hollow. Just like her. One evening, I was sitting alone in my apartment, TV on, some random sitcom playing. But I wasn't even watching it. I caught my own reflection in the black screen when the credits rolled. And I didn't recognize the person staring back at me. I had won the war. But at what cost? Then one day I saw her. Sophie. Sitting by herself in a coffee shop, staring down at her phone. She looked small. Fragile. Her hair was a mess, her face pale, her eyes empty. She didn't notice me. And I didn't approach her. But I stood there, frozen, something twisting in my gut. Because she wasn't the confident, radiant woman I once called my best friend. She was a shadow of herself. A shell. And for the first time since this all began, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt empty. I had destroyed her life. Completely. But in the process, I had destroyed myself too. That's when I realized the ugly truth about revenge. It doesn't just destroy your enemy. It destroys you too. And now I'm left asking myself the question I can't answer. Was it worth it? Thanks for watching. Today's train wreck is over, but tomorrow's ride is already on track. Subscribe so you don't miss it.